What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFucks here. November 1st is quickly approaching us. And the USA federal government shutdown is going on 1 month, 30 days of the US federal government being shut down. With that being said, it's a lot of uncertainty, right? Because you have them saying, the federal government in the US saying that they're not going to have funds for SNAP benefits, EBT, food stamps. And yet, every time you work and you look at your paycheck and you look at those tax deductions, whether they're for the taxes or the benefits, they're being deducted from your paycheck 9 times out of 10. They're telling you they don't have funds for the EBT and the food stamps, which is like less than $10 per person working. That's how much money from your paycheck goes to funding SNAP benefits, food stamps. $10 or less per paycheck. So it's not a lot of money, right? And at the same time, they're telling us that they're not going to have money to fund it come November 1st, yet they're still deducting those taxes from our paychecks. Just like they're still deducting Social Security from our paychecks, still deducting federal taxes from our paychecks. Yet the federal government claims they don't have money to fund these programs, these services, to offer these benefits that our tax dollars are continuously paying for. In the same breath, your federal elected political politicians, they're still getting paid. That's right. Your senators are still collecting a paycheck. Your senators still have health care. The best money can buy at that. The money that you and I are paying in taxes, are paying for them to have, $174,000 a year as a base income salary for the senators, U.S. senators, at the federal level, paying for them to have the best health care money can buy off of your tax dollars that me and you are paying, just for them to turn around and tell millions of working Americans and millions of people in the USA in general, whether they're working or not, oh, we don't have money for food stamps, we can't fund that. But continue to pay taxes to us so we can tell you that we don't have money that you're paying. Then, to add insult to injury, President Trump and his administration, they've destroyed the east wing of the White House in Washington, D.C. Because they needed to have a new ballroom. And the ballroom is damn near the size of the original White House, if not the original White House. What did they say? It was like $250 million renovation, estimated $250 million cost to build this epic ballroom. And then in the same breath, they don't have money for food stamps at the federal level. They don't have money for EBT. They don't have money for SNAP benefits. But they have money for an estimated $250 million renovation project to add a ballroom to the White House with our tax dollars. Where do you think that $250 million is coming from? Where do you think it's coming from? It's not coming from President Trump. It's coming from you. It's coming from your family. It's coming from your friends. It's coming from your colleagues. It's coming from your community. It's coming from the working people. It's coming from the taxpayers. It's coming from us. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on that. It's coming from our tax dollars. just so they can turn around and tell you that they don't have money for you and your family to have food, for you to have groceries. I've stated this numerous times before, but between 13 to 18% of the U.S. working population earns $100,000 a year or more. Only between 13 to 18%. Which means at the low end, at 13% of working Americans earning $100,000 or more per year. That means at the low end, 87% of working Americans earn under $100,000 a year or less. At the high end, at 18% earning $100,000 a year or more in the USA, that would still mean that 82% at the high end, right? 82% of working Americans earn under $100,000 a year or less, which would still mean that the majority of working Americans earn under $100,000 a year. Most of us are one paycheck away from being homeless. Most of us are one missed paycheck away from financial ruin. Most of us are working poor. Most of us are poor, working class. The middle class literally is disappearing and low-key don't really exist like how it used to, and you all know that. Most of us know that. Even the ones that love to talk about how things aren't bad know in the back of their mind that the middle class doesn't really exist anymore. People know this. People been knew this. Nothing I'm saying is new information, okay? In fact, in this day and age, at the end of October 2025, nearly 2026, you need $100,000 a year to be considered middle class. And mind you, even at $100,000 a year, you're still considered lower middle class at that. Now, granted, all of this depends on various factors, you know, like, do you have children? Do you have dependents? Do you own a home? What part of the country do you live in? Right? Because obviously living in the Midwest, in middle America, is a lot more cheaper than living on the East Coast or the West Coast, right? Like let's just be real here. $100,000 a year in my hometown, you're going to be doing pretty decent, pretty well, pretty good. Meanwhile, you drive an hour down the highway, and that $100,000 is not going to give you the same fruitfulness, because the cost of living just an hour down the highway is significantly more than it is in my hometown, in the same state, an hour away. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play. I've said this before, but I don't mind my tax dollars going towards programs like SNAP benefits, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, public education, healthcare, food. I want my tax dollars to go towards things like that because that benefits all of us. And I personally don't want to see children going without food. I don't want to see adults going without food. I don't want to see elderly people going without food, going without health care, going without shelter. I don't have kids, but I want your kids to have the best quality education that our tax dollars can pay for. And it can pay for a hell of a lot better public education than what it is. And we all know that. Most of us know that. Hopefully half of us know that. And I'm going to end this video with saying, socialism isn't the problem. It's actually capitalism. A lot of us have been saying this for years, and more voices are saying it now. And see, I simplify socialism in the definition a lot, because when I look at socialism from my perspective, socialism, in my opinion, is a nice way of saying your tax dollars that you're paying for should benefit you first, since you're the taxpayer. I'm just saying, as much as we pay in taxes, you shouldn't have to worry about healthcare. That should be a given with the amount of taxes that we're paying. You shouldn't have to worry about college and student loan debt, because with the amount of taxes that we're paying, it should be a given. If you want to get an associate's, a certificate, a bachelor's, you know, a master's, a PhD, a MD, you should be able to do that as much as we're paying in taxes. We should have housing subsidies everywhere with the amount of money that we're paying in taxes. With the amount of money that we're paying in taxes, there shouldn't be a pothole in any street or road or highway. There should be mass public transit all over the country with the amount of money that we're paying in taxes. With the amount of money that we're paying in taxes, poverty in of itself shouldn't even exist. With the amount of money that we are all paying in taxes in the USA. I'm just gonna keep saying the same thing over and over. Hopefully it clicks